If you live in Coweta County, Newnan, Sonoya, Sharpsburg, Moreland, Grantville, or anywhere nearby, and you just got that property assessment notice in the mail, please do not panic. That letter is not your tax bill. I'm going to say it again because this is where so many homeowners are getting stressed out right now. Your Coweta County property assessment notice is not your tax bill. It may affect your future property taxes, but it is not the actual bill telling you what you owe right now. So if you open that envelope and you thought, wait a minute, is this what I have to pay, or did my taxes just jump overnight? Take a deep breath. That notice is the county's estimate of your property value for tax purposes. And today, I want to walk you through what it means, what it does not mean, and why it matters, and what Coweta County homeowners should look at before they ignore it, panic about it, or even assume it tells them exactly what their home would sell for. I'm Sheree Macaroni with Macaroni Homes, and I help homeowners in Newnan, Coweta County, and the surrounding southern Atlanta suburbs understand what's really happening in the local real estate market. So first things first, the notice you received in mail is called a notice of assessment. That is not the same thing as your property tax bill. Your tax bill tells you what you owe. An assessment notice tells you what the county believes your property is worth for tax assessment purposes. That is a huge difference. The county is basically saying, based on our records, recent sales, property characteristics, and the information we have, we believe your property has this value. That value is then used as part of a formula to determine your property taxes. But those notices itself is not asking you to pay that amount. It's not saying you owe that number, and it's not necessarily saying your home would sell for that exact number if you listed it tomorrow. I mean, mine's $200,000 difference from what my house would sell for. Less, by the way. That is where a lot of homeowners get confused. You may look at the assessed value and think, okay, my house is worth this, but that's not always right. There are several different values your home can have, and they don't always match. You have excess value, you have market value, appraised value, and you have a listing price. Those are 4 different things. Your assessed value is what the county uses for tax purposes. Your market value is what a real buyer would likely pay for your home in today's market. And your appraised value is what the appraiser determines, usually from a lender based on comparable sales and lending guidelines. And your listing price is the strategy that we choose when we're putting your home on the market. So those numbers can be close, but they can also be very, very different. So let's talk about why Coweta County's assessment notice may not match what your home would actually sell for. Mine does not match it at all. The county does not walk through every single house. The county's never seen this beautiful sunroom in my house. They're not coming inside to see my kitchen, my floors, my roof, my HVAC, my paint, my bathrooms, your layout, your lot condition, all the things that buyers care about when they are deciding what to offer. They are using public records and market data, just like Zillow does. They can be helpful, but it does not always tell the full story. For example, maybe the county has square footage wrong. Mine does. Maybe they have your basement listed incorrectly. I know tons of people's basements are listed incorrectly. Maybe they are counting something as a finished space that's really not a finished space. Maybe they do not know your home needs a roof, or your HVAC is old, or your kitchen hadn't been updated in 25 years. On the other hand, your assessment could also be lower than your home might actually sell for. That's what's wrong with mine. Maybe your home has updates the county does not fully account for. Maybe your neighborhood is in a high demand. Maybe you have a better lot, better condition, better location than nearby homes. That is why homeowners need to understand that the assessment notice is important, but it is not the whole picture. Now, should you ignore that notice? No. Don't panic. Don't ignore it either. The notice matters because it is the county's value, and if it's too high, it could impact your future tax bill. And if there's incorrect information on your property record, you want to know that, right? So when you get your Coweta County assessment notice, here are the things I would look at. Number one, look at the property value. Does the number seem reasonably compared with what similar homes near you have actually sold for? Not what homes are listed for, but what they sold for. Not what someone on Facebook says their house is worth. Not what your neighbor hopes that they can get. Actual closed sales. That matters because closed sales shows what buyers were truly willing to pay. Number two, check your property details. Look at the basic information. Is the square footage correct? Is the acreage correct? Are the bedrooms and bathrooms correct? Is the basement information correct? Are the improvements correct? If something is wrong, that could matter. Number three, look at your exemption information. If this is your primary residence, make sure you understand whether you're in a homestead exemption in place or do you really need to apply for it. You should apply for it if it's your primary residence. I'm not a tax advisor and I'm not the tax commissioner either, but homestead exemptions can be important for homeowners. So you want to make sure that you're not missing something that you're already eligible for. Number four, know the appeal deadline. If you disagree with the county's value, there is a deadline to appeal that. For 2026 Coweta County Assessment Notice, the deadline is showing August the 3rd, 2026. So verify that just to make sure, but do not wait until the last minute if you think something is wrong. Once the deadline passes, your options may be limited. So now let's talk about when you might want to look more closely at appealing. So if your assessed value jumped way higher than similar homes around you, that may be worth looking at. If the county has incorrect information about your property, that may be worth looking at. If your home's condition issues has the county's value and it does not seem to reflect the same thing, that may be worth looking at. If recent comparable sales do not support the county's value, that may be worth looking at. But I want to be clear, appealing it is not automatically the right move for every homeowner. Sometimes the county's value may be reasonable, and sometimes it may be even lower than the true market value, such as mine. So the goal is not to appeal just because the number went up. The goal is to understand whether the number is accurate and fair based on your property and the local market. Now that is where a real estate data is really helpful. So as a local realtor, I can pull comparable sales for you in your neighborhood and show you what homes like yours can actually sell for. That does not replace legal or tax advice. It does not mean I can tell you exactly what the county will do, but it can help you understand whether the assessed value looks in line with the market value or whether it seems really off. And if you're thinking about selling your home in Newnan, Sonoy, Sharpsburg, or anywhere in Coweta County, this is also a good time to talk about market value because your assessment notice is not how we price your home for sale. So I know it can be tempting. You get that notice, you see the value, and you think, okay, that must be what I can list my house for. But listing a home is different. When I help a homeowner price the home, I'm looking at much more than what that county assessment is. Normally, I'm not even looking at that. I'm looking at recent comparable sales. I'm looking at current active competition. I'm looking at price reductions. I'm looking at days on market. I am looking at condition. I am looking at buyer demand. I am looking at the neighborhood, the school district, the lot, the layout, updates, deferred maintenance, and what buyers are responding to right now in today's market. Because in today's Coweta County real estate market, buyers are still active, but they are also more selective. They are looking closely at the price. Most of my listings have went under contract, under list price, because they're comparing homes. They're noticing your conditions. They are paying attention to interest rates and their monthly payments. So yes, Coweta County home values may be strong. Yes, many homeowners have gained a lot of equity over the past years, but that does not mean every home can be priced aggressively and still sell quickly. That right pricing strategy matters, and that is why confusing assessed value with market value can lead a lot of homeowners in the wrong direction. So if your assessment is high, you may think your home should list high, but the market does not support that price. The home may sit. And once a home sits, buyers start asking questions. They wonder what is wrong with it. They also wonder why no one else has bought it. They may also come in lower. So for sellers, the assessment notice usually information, but it should not be the information that you use in pricing your house. Now let me give you a simple example. So let's say your assessment notice says that your house is valued at $450,000. So that does not automatically mean your home should be listed at $450,000. If similar homes in your neighborhood with similar sizes and conditions are selling for $425,000, then the market may not support $450,000. But if similar homes are selling between $475,000 and $500,000 and your home is in a great condition, then your market value may be actually higher than what that assessment was. So that is why local comparable sales matter. The assessment notice gives you one piece of the puzzle. It does not give you the full picture, just like Zillow. Now, if you're a homeowner and you're not planning to sell, this still does matter because you still want to understand your property value. You still want to understand what affects your taxes. You still want to make sure the county has accurate information about your home. It always tells homeowners your home is probably one of your biggest financial assets. Don't wait until you're ready to sell to understand what it really is worth. And don't wait until tax season to pay attention to these numbers either. So here's what I would do if I receive your Coweta County assessment notice. First, don't panic, right? Second, remember it's not your tax bill, so don't pay it. Third, review the value. Fourth, check your property details, right? Fifth, look at your exemptions, make sure they're in place if you apply for them. Sixth, compare it to the actual recent sales data. Seventh, pay attention to the appeal deadline if something looks wrong. And eighth, if you are not sure what it means, ask someone who understands local property values. You can call the county for questions about the notices themselves. You can, how to do the appeal process, exemptions, and you can call me, a local real estate professional, if you want to understand what homes like yours are selling for in today's market. It's free, no obligation to do anything. I would love to be able to help. Those are two different conversations and both can be very helpful. The county can explain the assessment process and me as a realtor can help you understand the real market value. And if you're thinking about selling, that market value conversation is also very important because the question is not just what does the county think my home is worth? The better question is what would a real buyer pay for my home in today's Coweta County market? That answer may be higher, lower, or close to the assessment, but you do not know until you look at the right data. So if you're living in Newnan, Sonoy, Sharpsburg, Moreland, Grantville, Torrin, or anywhere in Coweta County, and you got your assessment notice in the mail, here's the main thing I want you to remember. That notice is not your tax bill. It's not your guaranteed selling price. It's the county's estimated value for tax purposes. Pay attention to it. Do not let it scare you. And do not use it as your only source of truth if you are making decisions about selling, refinancing, appealing, or trying to understand your home's value. If you want me to look at the local market data around your home and help you understand how your assessment compares with actual recent sales, send me a message. I'm happy to help you make sense of those numbers so you can make a calm, informed decision. Again, I'm Sheree Macaroni with Macaroni Homes. I'm serving the Newnan, Coweta County area and the southern Atlanta suburbs. And if this was helpful, save this video, share it with Coweta County homeowner, and follow me for more local real estate updates that actually help you understand what is happening in our market. I'll see you on the next video.